qualified to carry a weapon be included to stand duty on fires or crime scenes like the posses?
You know, in all fairness, I would have to find out what, as far as the fires go, I know that that's a fed, you're contracting for the feds, basically. You're working for federal dollars. I would have to find out what their constraints are on that, if they have you have to be sworn or non-sworn.
Is posse sworn, Lance?
To my knowledge, they are. Sworn officers that enact for the sheriff's office.
Posse?
If they're
They
not,
don't
then
have
I'm
arrest
mistaken.
authority, do they?
Everyone in this room has arrest authority.
Well, as a citizen, sure. I'm a non-sworn detention officer, though, okay? So my question to you, similar to like posse, who was non-sworn but was called in to stand on fires or possibly look after a crime scene, okay? Would we be included in that?
As far as a fire goes, meaning a federal fire, I would just have to see what the federal guidelines are.
Right.
But that being aside, I don't see why there should be any differences. I don't see why that would be, whether we should go or you could go, as long as you guys are up on the equivalent of training that's necessary to do that, which is obviously not a lot. Okay, I don't see that there's a problem there.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, in 2007, when we had 3 fires going and evacuations in 3 parts of this county going, there was actually roadblocks requested through the Forest Service co-op grant that we couldn't fulfill. And the posse, they're not sworn. Most of them are qualified to carry a firearm. So the Forest Service will allow non-sworn people to be there. Once again, they are paying the bill, they're writing the check. When we turn the time in and it's submitted to our accounting, they pay the bill. I do not have any objections to a qualified detention officer working those fires. However, there is some restrictions that I put into place, such as you will have 8 hours of rest prior to coming to work, and you're not going to take vacation, comp, sick time, that type of stuff to work on. If there's ample spots for them and it's okay with the Forest Service and they're the ones paying the bill, I don't have any issues with that, because there's probably some more qualified detention officers than some of the posse guys. So my answer is, you know, I don't have an issue with that, providing it's okay with the Forest Service who's paying the bill.
Thanks for the question. My answer to that is, and I welcome answering this question because, again, I have some fairly strong views on some things associated with this. The posse by statute are called auxiliary officers, and that's right, they aren't sworn. So, I mean, you could wave your magic sheriff wand and make anybody an auxiliary officer overnight. So I don't see any legal issues with that if they're qualified with weapons and all that. I feel fairly strongly that the workers of the organization are the ones that should have first shot at all the overtime. That being said, I think volunteers are important, and I publicly stated that I think we need to expand some of our volunteer programs. But for the paying overtime work, that should go to the workers first. The people that are out there trying to make a living are the ones that ought to have access to that. And I think if it fits within the realm, then certainly detention would have the ability to go and fulfill those roles, even before volunteers. It should be the paid people when there's overtime money available. Let me also say, and I just want to throw this in, that myself and my administrative staff, my salaried administrative staff, will never take an overtime shift ever away from any deputy or any civilian employee in this organization, ever. And I say that clearly. Did we all answer? Yeah.
Do you believe the current testing and selection for promotions is fair and unbiased? Should the process be reviewed? What, if any, changes would you make?
Sure. I'm a little bit, of all the people on this dais, I'm a little at a disadvantage here because I don't have a copy of your policy and procedure manual, so I don't actually know what your current testing and promotional system is. So I'm a little at loss to address that specifically, but let me say this. The goal of any promotional procedure should be to select the best person for that job and for that promotion. I feel very strongly that people's work ethic, people's loyalty to the organization, people's willingness to work are all more important than who you are, who you're friends with, or even necessarily your longevity. I think that those things need to play a key role. There should be no favoritism in promotions. The organization truly should look at finding their strong people that they feel have strong leadership qualities. I'm very much opposed to promoting someone to deal with a problem. Moving someone into a different position, the whole screw-up, move-up thing just doesn't work. And I've seen that happen in my career many, many times. So creating positions to deal with issues or moving people around to deal with issues is not the correct way to deal with any sort of promotional situation.
With regards to our, and I'm just saying this on the sworn behalf because I don't know exactly how it works with the non-sworn. With our new system that we're currently using, I think it's a better system than we had before because there's some practical application to it, at least in theory. You're still sitting down, you're not actually going out and doing anything to prove that you're a true leader. I agree, ethics has to play a huge role in who you're promoting. If you have two people that have like scores and you have someone that doesn't have an integrity, and that's not the person that shouldn't be promoted. You have to have the integrity, they have to have the ethics to go along with the position. They're supposed to be leaders, they're supposed to be setting an example for those that they're commanding. And I think our current system is better than the one we had before, and I think there's probably always room for improvement. And I think that there's some things that we can probably have some suggestions from people, other agencies, as to how they test. You know, I know we got this current system, I believe, from KPD, and I don't know that it's the best mousetrap out there. I'm sure there's room for improvement. We can probably find a better one in the future.
Yeah, as most of you know, we did change it about 2 years ago, and we set a time in the spring that we would test for promotional testing, and then we would look at that list throughout the year. I do think it's a good plan to have. We did change a lot of things. We made it more practical. We gave actual scenarios for the applicants to look at and engage them. And plus, we do have the written test, which is, it states in the manual we will have a written test. And that is always on the policy and procedures manual, and I think that's very important to keep that. But, you know, I agree with both these gentlemen that we have to promote, look for leadership qualities, to promote people, work ethic, evaluations, good, honest evaluations, and promote the best we can. But the most important is the leadership. I really, truly believe that.
For such considerations as self-defense training, and this doesn't just pertain to self-defense training itself, but any training throughout detention, do you foresee having a training area and adequate equipment, such as mats and protective gear, to accomplish this?
Well, I know downstairs in the training room there is some mats.
We couldn't find them, right?
Well, the last time I looked, they were there. I haven't been down there in a week or so.
I think the question more is, we're losing area downstairs. We used to be able to have meetings downstairs. We used to use the meeting room downstairs for training areas. Do research on taser and so forth to be able to hold a class. I'm going over to the health department now, holding a taser class with Dale Bailey in order to research our guys in detention. We just feel we should have an area that we should be able to use within our own department.
Yeah, Well, you know, when it comes to